How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
And well, welcome to Sunday Night Live. It's the Zoo. It is the Prepared Mind channel. Welcome, everybody. We're going to have one hell of a talk tonight. There is so much that has happened this weekend. Good golly. Not only did everything happen that happened out there and over there, right? But in our own lives, folks, incredible stuff. I've got a lot of things to report to you, but it is Sunday Night Live. We are at the Zoo. We've got Patreon. We've got YouTube, and everyone's just fucking smashed together into one big party. But it's not a fun party, folks. It is SHTF time. Shit has hit the fan. I hope everything is coming through clear, right? You can see, you can hear, and all that. God, what has happened this weekend? Where do we even start? Okay, this is where we started. Sunday Night Live. When that happens, all you guys show up. We have a hell of a talk, and you get to direct the show. I can't tell you how many different individual pieces of shit have shown up in my mailbox. Topics, folks. Pieces of shit equals topics these days. Topics have shown up, and it's like, no, it's Sunday Night Live. You guys get first crack at it. There's this button over here, the Super Chats button. Apparently, there's another button for memberships. There's all kinds of shit, but it's not only YouTube, it's Patreon, it's all of us together. It is live. Now, I can't talk about certain topics, so Uman and Jolene will advise you if you want to talk about a topic that it's off the radar, right? Then we'll give you an opportunity to pose a new question. But for the most part, I'm going to go head down right into it. I hope you have enjoyed the posts over the weekend. I hope you've enjoyed. There was one particular message. It was a TikTok that we mirrored or partnered with or whatever. There's some kind of crazy term. Jolene knows that stuff. There was a jarhead talking about Marines and what's happening. And it has been a USMC, U.S. Army weekend, folks. People are livid. So let's start this while we're waiting for the first one of you to decide what the topic will be through the Super Chats. Let me just let you know before I forget, I talked to another prepping channel creator who said, hey, look, I went from the deep south all the way up into Michigan, and then went from Michigan, did a turnaround all the way back down south, and was shocked doing this north-south run at how people in some towns and some counties and some states, he'd pull over to fuel up the big rig, and masks everywhere. And then the next fuel stop or food stop, no masks. But at each location, he noted this. He said, the shelves. There wasn't this food item. There weren't these drinks. There wasn't like phone chargers and electronics. And this is not little chicken shit truck stops. This is like Love's and Pilot, folks. These are the big boys. These are the big stops. And they are running out of stuff. What we were promised last week by truckers in Australia. No, wait, Australia is that way. That's right, folks. It's always up here. That way. That way in Australia, the truckers are saying, we're shutting this country down. The government doesn't own us, and we will shut the government and the country and everything down. until the government realizes. And I thought, you know, that's a good thing. Show the government who wears the pants. But guess what the government has? They have their own bunkers, their own food. They print the currency. They have as much money as they want. Government doesn't really anywhere, folks, the United States included, give a frog's fat ass what happens to us. They would probably be like, yeah, go ahead and punish the people by stopping your deliveries. What the government is missing is that when something goes wrong out there, everybody looks at the politicians and go, well, you dickheads are the ones in charge. Why have you let this happen? Why haven't you fixed it? Right? And the truckers, I hope they do. I really do. I hope they pull the cord on this. And come to a fucking complete and total stop and say, all right, government, enough is enough. And what gets me is this, is these are truckers, folks. Their job is to take products from point A to point B. And they're the ones in Australia standing up and saying, the people need to be free. You are not going to punish the people, and we're going to do what we can. And it's a marvelous fucking point to make. And I've been talking to people all weekend. You have to do what you can do. Right? I can't do a whole lot. I can't make stuff. I can't make cars. I can't make trucks. I'm not a food grower. I'm not a farmer. I can do other things, right? I can build houses and fix problems and fix, repair things. But, there's in other words, there's certain things all of us can do. And so we all need to step up and say, this is what we can do to help. And also, this is the action we can take to make these mofos in DC at the state capitol start paying attention. We need to put the pressure on them. Because all of the dumbasses out there, and folks, believe me, there are plenty of dumbasses. Plenty of dumbasses. They're not going to do a fucking thing. They don't know jack shit about what's going on. They have barely pulled their heads out of the sand or out of their asses to realize what trouble we're in. But you and I know. And folks, let's see, preppers, 3 to 5%. Okay, that would be 15 million of us in the United States of America. 15 million people who are actively preparing for shit to get worse. That's actually a big, big, big number of people who are prepping and wide a fucking awake. And you're one of them. We can all take action on our own behalf and on the behalf and for the benefit of all of America. We need to start doing what we can. God bless the truckers in Australia. Free your country. Here in America, we need to continue to do what we're doing. And holy shit. Holy shit. And Sergeant Hard Rock with a $5 super chat donation. He says, hey, John, love the new intros. They're awesome. Semper Fi. Those new intros are being done and other advertisements are being done by Mr. T, who doesn't want any real credit. Everyone, folks, wants to do what they can to make a difference. And we're all doing it. We're all doing it. Thank you, Sergeant Hard Rock. I know that we've all paid a price. And folks, guess what? We're going to continue to pay a big price. But people out there, shit, I'm going to have to save this fucking story because I want to get to another one. I got this. Shit, there's so much. Tim from Australia. Tim from Australia says, and I have to be careful, folks. He gave me an example of propaganda that is landing in his email box from the NSW government. And I think he put it in the garbage binny. I think that's an Australian term. He says this. I actually got stuff, Tim. Now, folks, this is a worldwide broadcast. Me, you, and America, yeah. But there's also Australia. There's also England. There's also Ireland, the Netherlands, France, Germany, even Russia, even China, Mexico, Canada. People everywhere right now are tuning in. We now have more people watching us live than the President of the United States gets live on his YouTube channel. This is from Tim. He says, I tried to forward it on, but that did not work. Actually, Tim, it did work. I got those transcripts, those documents from the Australian government. He said, there's been a lot of pressure to go drink the Kool-Aid. Everyone is asking me if I have drank the Kool-Aid. There has been hints that people eventually will not be allowed into businesses like pubs, hotels, and cinemas if we don't have it here in Australia. There has been nothing hinted at in law that discriminating against us unzombified people should be banned from attending job sites, so it becomes a matter of corporate policy. Thank you guys for what you're doing on the Prepared Mind channel. Say hello to John for me. Dude, I got your thing. I got your shit direct, brother. I am getting sick of, this is the big part, the big takeaway. Because I knew this other shit was going on. It's going on in Australia, England, Europe. It's going on here in the United States of America. When corporations are going to start telling us what to do, fuck them, period. Okay, enough on that. But this is the part that got it for me. He says, I am getting sick of sitting behind a handle online, meaning his internet name, Tim. I'm John, he's Tim, you're Margaret, Mary, and Sue, and Bill, and Fred, and Tom. We've all got some kind of semi-anonymous internet persona. He says, I'm sick of sitting behind that. You guys are always in my thoughts. What you are doing is giving me hope. Dude, don't lose hope. These fucking people are retards, and what they do is they love to tell us what to do and then screw everything up. They're going to screw it up. I guarantee it. Of course, you and I were always footing the bill for their fuck-ups in D.C. or whatever province you're in, state. Don't ever give up hope. That's what they want. That's how you win a war by attrition, is by hurting somebody and then making them give up hope. Never give up hope. Never quit. Never fucking surrender. All right. He says, I will post a link on the Patreon site. And folks, yeah, join Patreon. That is where you and I, folks, can talk a little more frankly, to put it bluntly. Some of the shit that I'm sending to Jolene, I'm like, you know, horrifying what they're doing to us, what they're demanding of us, what is happening in various states because they don't like their taxes that's happening. And I know there's a little bit of codified language, crazy stuff. Anyways, Garbage Binny is Tim's, I guess, handle, Garbage Binny. Thank you, Tim, very much. And thank you, everyone. We got J-Man, who has checked in with a $2 super chat. And he says, where are the women protesting the Taliban? Woman meaning women. The answer to that, J-Man, is they won't fucking dare to protest the Taliban or ISIS-K. They aren't going to protest shit. And I'll tell you why. Just need to lubricate the old windpipe there. Woo! That's some fine Scottish water I had imported from Scotland. Now, women in these countries, especially at this point, not just Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates or Qatar or Qatar, depending on how snobby you want to sound, that fucking area of the world, especially though now in Afghanistan, they don't have a say. You see, America is a great place because guys like me and gals like, well, guys and gals like all you out there, we're like, dude, equality. We're all the same. We're all the same. We all get a vote. We all get to be cool. We all get to obey the law. That's not how it is over there. Lady showed up with her face. The rest of her body was covered, her face showing. What happened? Well, let's see. A fine speech from the lead Muslim that was on site, followed by a bullet to the side of the head and dead. Tweeted, texted, posted on Facebook and Twitter, no doubt, without any penalties or removal because, you know, they're not terrorists after all. It must be a cultural thing where Twitter allows them to get away with shit that I can't get away with 1/100th of a piece of their crap. Anyways, everyone gets to see it. Every man silent. Can you fucking blame them? Can you? I mean, would you want to stand up and say, hey, One, I think you're wrong. And two, I'm next. No one will do that. Zip, zilch, zero, nada, no fucking way is anyone going to line up that way to get a bullet put in their head. All right, we got Julie V checking in with a $20 super chat. Julie, thank you again. A fine benefactor of the Prepared Mind Network, folks, and the network is growing. You guys are doing such an outstanding job growing this channel by watching and then subscribing and then liking the videos and hitting that fucking update me button, the bell, the notify me button, as well as sharing videos. It is only through sharing, because YouTube's not going to help us in our cause of communicating the message to get it out. What is happening? You guys are doing it. And Julie's been around a long time supporting the Prepared Mind channel. Thank you again, Julie. This is what she says has to say. She says, "Hi, John. My internet has been down. It is so nice to see all of you." I'm going to address that this way. I know what you're saying. When we first got locked down with, oh no, let's flatten the curve. It's only for 2 weeks. Everything will go back to normal. It's not a big deal. We're all over it. We're doctors. We know what the fuck we're talking about. All of that, right, Julie? And within a couple of days, people were like, this doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. It was a feeling, a sensation, an effect, in other words, a psychological effect. And near instantly, I was like, that's it. Time out. Shit has hit the fan. Where's my fucking cigar and scotch? We're going to talk about this. And I called it. I said, they just fucking did it. They're going to screw up the supply lines. They did. They're going to keep it going enough because they don't want the world to go into full Mad Max meltdown. So they have to give us just enough freedom, and then some more masks, and then no more freedom, and then we're going to require you, right, to get some zombie juice. They're going to do all these little things, but then they'll take it back. And folks, if you're in an abusive relationship, the person that's abusing you, and trust me, I've been in an abusive relationship. They will hurt you, and then, oh, I love you, though. And then they'll hurt you again and go, no, but I really love you. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. And they fucking do it again. And they keep abusing you until the point you are just smashed down, right? You're up here, they smash you down. They let you up a little bit, and they smash you down some more. And a little bit up, and then fucking beat you down some more. It's an abusive relationship. Government is abusing us. So when you say, I haven't seen you guys, right? My internet's been down. I get it. Because who is on our side, folks? Your side, my side, the side of patriots and freedom. It is just us. Not justice, just us. The mainstream media shows you that you're number one. Only it's a different finger. Mainstream media, local government, state government, federal bureaucracy couldn't give a squirt of piss for you, and they won't. Who else is not on our side? Let's see, government, mainstream media. Oh yeah, corporations. Once again, fuck them, corporations. At this point, I'll go buy hamburger from the farmer that actually has cows. I'll go to independent meat packers. Anything to tell big corporate America, go fuck yourself. I don't need their shit, folks. But that's what they've been doing for years, for decades now, is destroying mom and pop businesses, destroying little companies, buying up little companies. I mean, if you had a $10 million company, it's a little company in all truth. $10 million company, they'll buy you out for $20 million. You're like, how can I turn that down? They buy out the company for $20 million, fire the fucking workers, sell off the equipment, and then they just replace the business with their product. Competition gone, competition gone, competition gone, and now what? Hey, you want to go buy a Slurpee, a slushy, a hamburger? Sorry, we're out of stuff. So yeah, again, the trucker friend, food, McDonald's. Sorry, we don't have any milkshakes. Don't have milkshakes. They're putting signs up on the door. This is the shit we don't have. Sorry, folks. for the inconvenience of not having the things you normally need. Now truckers on the road, these aren't fucking animals, folks. These are your neighbors, your friends, your family. And like all of us, it's a labor of love. You love America, you love your life, you love your country, you do your job, whether or not it's the world's greatest fucking job. And none of us have the world's greatest fucking job. So we fucking grind it out. We work our asses off. Truckers are now being denied. Now, what I have learned from many people who have reported shortages around the country, whether it's at Costco's or mom and pop supermarket, or, hey, I went to my hometown and the store I've gone to for the last 50 fucking years has shut down. I don't mean for the day. It's closed. They're done. They're out of business. Whether they got bought out or priced out by, you know, the local wall, let's call it a wall cock. They may as well be wall cocks, Walmarts. But I'm hearing from around the country in rural areas, folks, a little bit in urban areas, but mostly rural areas, that they're having shortages. Paul up in Idaho let me know his restaurants. Sorry, you can't have this, you can't have that. Like what? No tater tots, no fries, no onion rings. We don't have buns for the burgers. We don't have cheese, no cheeseburger for you. They're systematically shutting us down, taking away what we know, right, should be. It's not that hard to have buns or cheese or fucking French fries, for that matter. It's not that hard. I know Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Northern California all are still growing potatoes. Why the fuck don't they have French fries at frickin' Wendy's or Carl's Jr. or Jack in the Crack? Why don't they have French fries? They're systematically shutting us down piece by piece, taking it away. Punishment. Oh, no, everything's fine. Punishment. Everything's fine. Larry Luscombe checks in with a $2 super chat. He says, ISIS drone strike did happen. Opinion. Okay. To address this, I had another article that I wanted to combine with this particular thing, Leroy. Oh, shit. I've got so much stuff. My fucking mail, my mailbox is overfloweth. And I've got Darcy checking in. Darcy, I'll get to your question. Jolene, Uman, everyone, don't let me get away without doing Darcy's question. Let's see. Larry Luscombe, we're looking at the drone strike. This was an important story. Let's see. Who? Oh, that son of a bitch in the Pentagon ran away from a story. Little chicken shit. I can't believe this. There's so much, folks. I cannot get through this. I'm just going to go with it from memory, okay? This is my memory. Larry, the drone strike did happen. Folks, we were told that the Pentagon was monitoring the bad guys, right? ISIS-K, Taliban, some fucking nebulous terrorist organization. And they detected that there's going to be an attack. Everyone was put on alert. Hey, there's going to be an attack. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you think the frickin' soldiers and Marines there at the airport don't suspect at any fucking second, 24/7, that an attack could happen? That an attack could happen? Of course, they don't need some jackass in the Pentagon to tell them. They don't need that fucking idiot Secretary of Defense. What is it, Lloyd Austin? To tell them that there's a chance of a drone strike or a bomb or a sniper attack or a full-fledged fucking frontal assault. They don't need DC to tell them that. They're in the shit. They're already there. But we were told, so us, me and you here in the United States of America, we were told that to prepare us. And then they let us know, hey, guess what? We blew some shit up because we knew that shit we blew up was going to blow up some of our shit. And I thought, at first, good, we got him. We got him. Here's the story right fucking here. Is this real, or is this a Biden and Pentagon Joint Chiefs of Staff bullshit story trying to make it look like they give a fuck and they did their job and they stopped this from happening? I don't know, folks. I'm not on the inside anymore. I wish I could. I wish I knew, and I'd let you guys know, but I can't. I'm just a regular guy fucking sifting through mountains of mule excrement trying to get to the truth with you guys, right? I'm not on the inside, but real patriots are pissed off. So the U.S. did an airstrike that hits a suicide bomber in a vehicle that was going to Kabul airport. Number one, did they really use an airstrike to hit somebody? Or are they just telling us they did? Number two, did they do an airstrike against somebody, a suicide bomber? And was that person really both a suicide bomber and going to the Kabul airport? We don't know. We can't know. But what we do know, the fact of the matter is, folks, the absolute fact of the matter is these bastards lie to us. They lie to us because it's politically expedient. They lie to us to increase their power and control over us, to scare us or to give us confidence in them. The jackasses that, folks, let me remind you, because I have to remind myself all the time, Joe Biden, Secretary of Defense, Joint Chiefs of Staff, were the ones who pulled the fucking can off of this, pulled the fucking lid off the can and said, hey, have some Pandora's box, world, and caused all this shit to happen. Oh, by the way, Mitt Romney, cocksucker extraordinaire, decided he would come out and blame everything that's going on in Afghanistan on the prior administration. That's right, folks. Somehow, again, this is all Trump's fault. Are you fucking kidding me? They had 7 months to finally get to the point where they said, abandon ship. They couldn't do a better fucking plan than that, and it's Trump's fault. They're like, oh shit, we just took office January 21st. We took office, and it's so bad, it's going to take 7 months to figure out how to say we're pussies and we quit. And I am not saying the military on the ground are the pussies. I'm talking about the pussies in D.C., the pussies in the Pentagon, the men who wear lipstick and skirts. That's right, folks. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but there are men calling themselves women, wearing skirts in uniform, making decisions about very muy macho military decisions. It's not about feelings, folks. It's about musculas. It's about being just the military, dude. It is blowing shit up and killing people. That's what these fucking guys do. That's what they do. I don't do that anymore. I'm just a regular old John. Anyways, patriots are fucking pissed, and I'm going to get to that here. Frankie Rios checks in with a $5 super chat. Says, hey, Gunny. I never was a gunny, but I do appreciate the compliment. I'm certainly old enough to be a fucking gunny, I guess. But you want to talk in the military, folks, the fucking gunny sergeant. Look out. All right. It says, hey, Gunny, sorry I'm late. Anyone know the status on the worldwide September strike for freedom? That is going to be an ever-changing thing. And it's going to be an ever-changing, ever-developing. We're starting with truckers. Who else is going to be participating in it? Right? This idea that we can strike or we can make a difference, it's going to make a difference, folks. Now, sadly, okay, my kids were in FFA, Future Farmers of America. They were in 4-H. Okay, 4-H. Kids did animals, livestock. If you want, like if you're showing a pig, and I hate to break it down to this level, if you want the pig to turn, right, you're showing the pig, you use a cane to direct them. Smack, 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 smack. Women that love horses, you all know, right? Horse understands the whip. Horse understands pressure. Horse pays attention to what you're doing. People of the United States and anywhere in the world, we respond to pressure. Government even responds to pressure. Everyone responds to fucking pressure. Who is pressuring who, right? The government puts pressure on you. We're taking away your liberties. Oh, we'll give you some back. We're going to take away your liberties. They put pressure on us in order to, and say, well, if you just do as we fucking say, we're going to make your life so much better, right? We're going to give you back 10% of what we stole from you. Thank you, government. Fuck you guys. Now, we the people, we can put pressure on the government, but it's harder to do because we're like a herd of 350 million cats, and that's the United States alone. And we're all kind of going in different directions. It's hard to get us unified, especially when the fuckers in DC have been so marvelously successful at dividing us into groups. Yeah, folks, by the way, we're about to top 1,000 viewers right now, live. And we're still going to go up. This is Sunday Night Live on the Prepared Mind channel. Your questions. Super chat donation makes you, right, moves you up to the top. I'll make you famous. You got a question, you got a comment, as long as it doesn't violate the fucking precious terms of service and community guidelines of YouTube, I will address it as honestly and directly, because that's what I like to do, folks. I like to directly get at it. And a lot happened this weekend to me personally, as well as other people I have dealt with. We've got a lot to discuss. So Frankie Rio says, I believe that strike to be the last time we'll be mostly peaceful. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Frankie Rios, a great benefactor to the channel. Folks, this is, by the way, your channel. I started it. You started it, John. Yeah, I started it. It's my fucking fault. I'm sorry it happened. I could be peacefully and blissfully fucking ignorant of everything if I just took my brain out and threw it in the fucking garbage like all the Democrats. I wouldn't have any idea what's going on. Sadly, I didn't do that. I started the channel, and you guys direct it. You direct it with what you want to hear, what you want to talk about right now, Sunday Night Live, and we go to KY, Patriot Prepper. That's Kentucky Prepper with a 556 donation. Thank you. One of my favorite donation numbers, by the way, folks. He says, power down, water issues coming soon, in my opinion. What he's referring to is Hurricane Ida, not Irma, Ida, I believe. This hurricane swatted the fuck out of me this weekend. And I hope to share with you some pieces of what happened on this story. I have to protect the innocent, change the names to provide anonymity. And of course, the location is always secret. But yeah, I got swatted, folks. Anyways, when it comes to your power, this is what I am being told to expect. Power is going down. There's going to be power, water issues, fuel issues, food issues, punishment. Hey, some of you get your power back. Don't worry, the government's here to help. This storm, folks, I mean, it was a tropical storm. It came up, underneath Florida. It always kind of goes under like that tip of Florida and then up into the Gulf and then fucks everyone up. But it was a tropical storm, and then all of a sudden, pow! It's a fucking hurricane, category 4, fucking everyone up. Why is it that when it's a dud storm, the news and the media is all over it telling us, look out, it's going to get you, and nothing happens? And then this one shows up. Folks, it was basically literally off my fucking radar. I may as well go into the story, a little bit of what happened this weekend. Are you ready? Are you prepared? And Damien, hang on to your hat, brother. I'm going to get to your super chat, donation, comment, question in a minute. May as well get into this. I wanted some fresh air this weekend. So I left the bunker. And a friend of mine says, you know what you need? You need to go to the Gulf Coast. You need to get some fresh air. Get out on a paddleboard. Paddleboard. You know, fucking like a surfboard that's bigger and it floats and shit. And get a big old paddle. Just kind of paddle around, have some fun. I mean, have a couple of fucking beers and shit. Just relax, John. Fucking take a chill pill, John. So we go out there. We paddle almost 2 miles from the drop-off point to the location. The location. And what I saw at that location was mind-numbing. Anyways, mind-blowing. We'll get to that some other day when we don't have this much shit to deal with. And I was like, okay. And so we're sitting there just fucking chilling. And I look up and kind of look to the south. Right? And there's this fucking cloud coming. And I go, I don't remember seeing much about that fucking cloud in the news. So I said, check your phone. So my partner there checks the phone and goes, this is bad fucking news. But the good news is we got an hour and a half to get that near 2 miles back to the truck and get the fuck out of here before this thing hits us. And I ain't shitting you, folks. This fucking storm fell on us in a hellish fashion. We got halfway across the first body of water, and the fucking wind came up and started kicking the shit out of us. My partner couldn't do much. I weigh 270 pounds, kind of strong, and my partner is much smaller and didn't have enough arm strength to paddle through this shit. And a fucking gust of wind come up, picked them up with their fucking paddleboard, flipped them into the water. The board spun and hit them on the head, knocked them into the water. I got hit by the wind. It didn't flip me, though, because I'm kind of heavy. Anyways, I paddled over there, helped get them straightened out. And they said, you know, calm down. What are we going to do? Mangroves. Run for the mangroves. And I looked, and there's 4 kayakers. 2 of them are flipped over. I went over, pulled the mom into one, got her into the cockpit there, and then got the son into the one. The other daughter that was crying quit fucking crying. The husband, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Anyways, they all paddled the fuck off as fast as they could. But the waves went from, you know, little waves in an estuary to 2-foot fucking whitecaps everywhere. We got blown in. It was a nightmare. Now, the moral of the story is when shit comes, it comes fast and it comes hard. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Are you prepared? Now, John, were you prepared? Yes and no. I had food. I had water, enough for a couple of days. I had the appropriate amount of alcohol for a couple of days. And it's a warm area, so I wasn't going to freeze my ass off. But getting battered with waves against the mangroves, that wasn't the greatest thing. So then I thought back to survival. How do you get through this shit? No panic, stay calm, etc. I started thinking of the urban Aboriginal Rudy, and I'm like, you know what? I could fucking weave a bed, a basket, something to get in, get out of the water, get up above it, and basically weave a hammock out of these mangroves. But thankfully, this fucking hurricane blew by. This portion of it that was smacking the shit out of us. But folks, when it comes, I'm not talking about just hurricanes, any SHTF, it's fast. Are you prepared? Are you ready? There's a myriad of things that can happen. Do you have a plan to address them? Fortunately, the answer was yes. I got a plan to deal with it. Now, what did I end up doing? I ended up fucking dragging 2 paddle boards, another person, 1.75 miles through 4 to 6 feet of fucking water to get back to the truck and get out. Are you physically conditioned? I'm not saying to do some Herculean shit, but can you handle yourself? We all have to be ready because they're coming at us. They're knocking our legs out from under us, folks. They're going to kick this fucking storm up, and it's going to screw up the central part of the country. I don't know how bad, because I don't pull the levers on the weather control machines the way these assholes seem to be able to do, to turn a tropical storm into a fucking instant nightmare that's so quick and so fast that you're not ready for it. It just comes at you. Anyways, I survived it. Got a few bruises, a few scratches. I got off light. When the shit comes to you, are you going to be ready? Are you prepared? Do you have the things, the items? Are you up here prepared? That's what I want for everybody, is to be prepared. Let us move on, if we shall. We got Damien English with a $10 super chat donation. He says, found the World Economic Forum dot. The first item on the list is the Great Reset, but you need a login to access the page. And the Davos agenda is not a conspiracy anymore. Your thoughts? It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a imaginative fiction. And thank you very much for the donation, Damien. Again, this week, Damien's been a great sponsor of the show. It's not a theory. It's not conjecture. It's not bullshit. It's not hyperbole anymore, folks. The Illuminati, the New World Order, the Bilderberg Group, the Davos, the Great Reset. It's not fiction. It's not a lie. It's not a fantasy anymore. It isn't. It's not a fantasy any longer, folks. They're coming out. Klaus has told us, this is this German asswipe who's part of this Great Reset group. Bunch of rich aristocratic bastards. They haven't gone away, folks. They never went away. Just after losing many of their heads a couple hundred years ago, they thought they would go underground and start controlling things through government manipulation. Well, we let these democracies and these republics come up, but they manipulate, they control, then they own, then they force everyone's hand. And here we are. The same fucking pricks are here. Klaus has been writing books on the Great Reset. It's not a joke. It's not a sham. It's not a lie. It's not fabricated. You can read their shit that they want to do to you. They want people to be controlled like automatons, robots. They want to take away your will by telling you their will is now your will. They want to force people to obey them. They want to remove our constitutions, our rights, our liberties. I'm not talking about some chicken shit civil right that some other human being said we should have. I'm talking about our real rights. Common law, nature's law, the Declaration of Independence, that type of shit. Powerful stuff. They're going to try and convince us it's not real and we don't really own it. I would like to meet Klaus. A few years ago, I would have said, look, Klaus, I'll meet you in a dark alley sometime. I think I would like to meet Klaus in broad daylight in the middle of, I don't know, how about a cage match? And say, why don't we just settle this like real men? And I'll even let you bring a weapon, right? Wouldn't it be nice, folks, to be able to settle our disputes mano a mano out in the open instead of this chicken shit behind the scenes stuff? And I'm not promoting real violence, you know. I'm talking about a nice sporting event. You know, can't we just settle this like sportsmen instead of what they do, which is behind the scenes, lying, cheating, stealing, and fucking us over? We got Jeffrey Gaines here with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Jeffrey Gaines. And that goes into the GTFB and SB. That's the John, get the fuck back here in America and stay here. You don't get to hang out at the RMZ. You don't get to fucking chill and drink pina coladas, swing in your hammock, occasionally fight the fucking chicken and the rooster. No, you're going to be here. And here I am. You guys are supporting that. Thank you. This is what Jeffrey says. He says, supplies. I love that joke, by the way. I know that joke. He says, my dad told me that joke in 1977. Good stuff. I didn't hear that joke until 1983. So you got me on that one. There used to be these joke books, folks, called Truly Tasteless Joke Books. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had them all in grade school. And I have to tell you, they were full of every raunchy, hilarious, funny, inappropriate joke you can imagine. There weren't as many Swedish jokes as I hoped there would be. There weren't as many, any of the jokes for my my particular nationalities, if you will, but I sure love those books. Taught me a lot about humor. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself. Anyway, supplies. Frankie Rios with a $5 super chat says, I heard bee stings can help you with the whole being smart thing. Too soon? It's at this point, folks, too soon? No. It's the pace of what's happening is accelerating and is going straight up. The acceleration of everything, the takedown of our economy, the international tension breaking into war, the abandonment of America to the world and the abandonment of the world to America. It's accelerating at an enormous pace. The failure of our infrastructure system is failing at an accelerated. Everything is accelerating faster, faster, faster. Another prepper I know ordered they wanted some super good quality meats to put in their freezer because they know, one, the prices are going up. Two, it's going to be more difficult to get. Ordered meat 2 weeks before it even ships. And this was for hamburger. High quality hamburger, no less, but hamburger. 2 weeks. He's like, well, fuck, I got in line. $500 worth of hamburger? No problem. I'll wait. The problem isn't going to be in 2 weeks, folks. The problem is going to be in, what, 2 months? And where are we going to be at in 2 years? This is not a short-term problem that they, the assholes in Washington, D.C., have created. By the way, we're almost up to 1,200 people live right now. There's 1,200 of you watching right now. The President of the United States on his YouTube channel, 200, 300, 400. And most of those are there to give him the thumbs fucking down, folks. All right, we got Red Pill Files with a 556 donation. He says, hey, John, read that truckers in Australia will close down the whole country this week, blocking roads surrounding politicians' houses. Will this help? The answer is 100%. Absolutely yes. Gotcha. Yeah, it will. Now, does this mean that people aren't going to be hurt? Maybe this analogous explanation will be suitable. You've heard the expression, take the Band-Aid and rip it off fast. That's what the truckers are proposing to do. It's going to hurt fast because people are going to go, we've got no food in the store this week. We've got no gas in the fuel stations this week. You get the pain all at once. Rip that fucking Band-Aid off and expose. This is what they're doing. They're going to expose who the problem is. They're going to expose what the problem is. The problem, who the problem is the politicians. What the problem is the politicians. Funny, the who and the what are the fucking same. Who and what? How? Government. When? Right now. Who, what, where, when, why? Because they're trying to bring down Australia, the United States, Canada, Europe, England. I don't even want to mention New Zealand. I love the fucking Kiwis, folks, but their government is so far removed from common law. I want to shape it into a football and kick it off the fucking planet. The government of New Zealand is basically just absolutely mentally fucking retarded. Enough said. So yes, will it help? Absolutely, because it'll put pressure on the people who caused this problem, who wanted this problem, the politicians. And all of the people will feel it. It's a Band-Aid on everyone. And it's not just a Band-Aid on your arm. It's a Band-Aid on your fucking, a very sensitive area. That Band-Aid is going to hurt when they rip it off. And people are going to feel the pain. Stores are empty, gas stations are empty, things are fucked up. It's going to cause some pain. Now, if you're a prepper, that would be you. If you have food, several months worth, water, shelter, clothing, all that shit, you got all that stuff, and you understand what's happening, you can get through this a lot more comfortably than everyone else. But trust me, who is getting hurt? Everybody. Even the dumbass, complicit, half-assed asleep dumb fucks called Democrats or liberals or progressives or socialists. They get to feel the pain too. Of course, they're going to blame the truckers and they're going to blame you because you don't have a face diaper on. Ultimately, the government needs to take their knee off of everyone's neck, take their hand out of everyone's pants and let go of their genitals so that people can move about freely and live their lives. But that is the agenda that's working against us. See, the governments of the world, not just in the US or Australia, not just in England or France or Italy or Germany or Spain or Ireland or the Netherlands or fucking Brussels. It's not just one, it's everywhere. It is a unified global political agenda that is playing out right now. And that is not a fucking conspiracy theory. You look at everything, every country is doing the same thing. Locking down, wearing masks, social distancing. You must go get your Kool-Aid so you can join Jim Jones in the afterlife. Everyone is pushing for the same thing, a little bit different here, a little bit different there, but it's all in the same direction, folks. Same fucking direction. Bob Zemko checks in with a 556 donation. He says, do these leftoids even have a clue of the pain they are inviting? We vets are so pissed off. Well, I guess we're going to have to go into some other talking points I have. We're over 1,200 viewers and rising live. Tell everyone, get their asses here because I'm about to get to some spicy fucking meatballs, folks. That's a spicy meatball. We're going to get there. And we're going to start with Bob Zenko's comment. If we have more super chats, there's a super chat button up there. You got a question, put it up there. I will answer it. And Delyn Stanford checks in with a $4.99 super chat. No question. Thank you, Delyn. It was a rough fucking weekend, folks. 1 second. Velociraptor checks in. Velociraptor, what a great fucking name. Velociraptor the 6th checks in with a $50 super chat donation. Supplies. My super chat last week was late. It references how governments have been preparing for an upcoming solar cycle that will potentially bring 2012 type cataclysms, which coincide with civilization changes. It's all about location. No joke. Reset. I'm going to let that stand as it is. I recommend that you, me, everybody look into the solar super cycle. And then when you take that fucking problem, folks, we have solar minimums, solar maximums, grand this, grand that. Are they real? Does it matter? The scientific record says, yeah, it fucking matters. We have had, folks, mega ice ages, and we have had mini ice ages. One that just ended back in the mid-1800s, in fact. It's called the Little Ice Age. We have had global warm periods that have exceeded the temperatures we have now. Did you know that? Back about 1,000 years ago. They're growing crops and colonizing Greenland, which is now Iceland. If you look at it, it's covered in fucking ice. Still, even with all the global warming going, it's still covered in ice. But back then, it was being covered in Vikings 1,000 years ago with their sheep and their peoples as they colonized the world. They were growing grapes in England, where now you can't grow grapes. But it was much warmer back then because of these solar cycles, these minimums and maximums. Now, when you take that and you combine it with whatever technology the government has to modify, manipulate, and encourage weather events to become more aggressive, however you want to term it, folks, I don't need to get all scientific-y. I don't need to, because the facts speak for themselves. right? Things are kind of out of fucking wonk. And the government's going to take advantage of that. They tried taking advantage of it back when Al Gore was vice president. That's right, the man who invented the internet, who didn't have a fucking thing to do with the internet, Al Gore. Not a thing. Wow. Global warming. Plus Social Security lockbox, but global warming. And then it was, no, it's climate change. Yeah, because global warming wasn't happening. They rode that little wave for a couple of days and it went away. But they're always going to push and take advantage of whatever is happening with weather to blame you. That's right. The idea is always to blame you, me, us, human beings, humanity. There's too many people. That's the problem. How about there's too many cocksuckers in charge of the governments around the world? Oh, by the way, I use bad language, folks, because I think it really hammers home the point. This is not kindergarten. This is not, geez, what could happen if time. This is the deal. This is the real deal. And it's nasty as fuck. Thank you, Velociraptor, who has done a marvelous job of, well, trolling the government of China. Let us move on if we shall. Oh, here we are. As Prepared Mother says, last week, the Velociraptor comment, bingo, I bring this up, the CCP, that would be the Chinese Communist Party, owns 70% of the ships and containers. It's no longer the Greeks. And I will add to this, the Danes, Maersk, is not Greek, it's Dutch. But yeah, we've got the Kronos and anyways, the Greek and the Dutch, oh yeah, they're big in shipping, but apparently 70% is the Chinese. So check out Suspicious Observers. Oh yes, Suspicious Observers. I don't donate money to. Dave doesn't donate money to me. Is it Dave? I can't even remember his fucking name at the moment. But I've been watching him for, I don't know, over 7 years. How weather works. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on with weather. But the shipping companies, let's get. We got this. They cover the scientific reasons for government DNR plans, which leads us to a future cyclical cataclysm. Think movie 2012. Yes. So here we are back at the movie 2012. Is it going to be that bad? Is it going to be global excursion where the peel of an orange kind of slips on the inside and we spin around? We got a new North Pole location. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Is it possible? Yes. Has it happened before? Undoubtedly. How do we know this? Real science. When an iceberg melts in the Arctic or Antarctic and there's actual tropical vegetation encased in it, it's a pretty interesting clue, right? That at one point, the tropics tilted to the poles. All right, let's move along if we can do Magic American Regulators at the $10 super chat donation. He says, together we stand, together we prepare, and together we will persevere. We the people, us, quote, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. In other words, yeah, let's just go with that agricultural proverb. Agricultural proverb says, right, if we will reap goodness if we don't give up. Now, remember those assholes in Seattle that did the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, the Chaz? They went and planted fucking tomatoes and shit they got from Home Depot, thinking that the next day there would be, I don't know, a cornucopia of food just sprouting out of the fucking dirt everywhere. No. You plant the plants and you have to cultivate them. You have to water and care for them and be patient, and it takes time. And eventually it will produce, right? Produce, plants, vegetables, produce, food. Eventually you get produce, but you have to work together, all of us. Yeah, man, does a $10 super chat and says, just because you're awesome. Folks, I am just a guy. I'm just a guy. You guys are awesome. I need you to continue to be awesome. I need you to go out and tell people, get prepared, pay attention to the government, take action, call, text, email these dumb bastards in government and tell them to give us our Constitution back and stop trying to steal our rights, stop violating our rights, stop telling us what to do. They don't own us, folks. We own them. The tail is wagging the dog. And where does the tail attach? Washington, D.C.? It attaches right next to the dog's bunghole. That tells you, folks, how bad the tail stinks. Funny how shit like that just comes to me. $5 from Crazy Uncle. He says, prepper tip. This is a hot prepper tip coming from Crazy Uncle, not John. He says, exactly where your important documents are. No exceptions. If you have to leave in a hurry due to a storm, then snatch and grab. Everything, folks. This comes down to emergency preparedness. If you have to leave, what do you need to take? What is most important? Is it ready, available, and do you know where it's at? Additionally, if you have to leave anywhere in a big hurry for whatever the problem is, do you know where you're going to go? Imagine if someone said, here's $1 million, you have to go on vacation, you're leaving first thing in 1 hour. You'd be like, cool, and you start packing all your shit up, and you're like, where do I go? I don't have tickets. I get given $1 million. You got to know where you're going, folks. If you're going to bunker in, bunker in. Are you prepared to be in that bunker? If you have to bug out and go to another place, where is it? Are you properly planned? Know where to go. All right, got Frankie Rios with a $5 super chat. He says, message on the police. Don't quit. Do your job. Gang unit. There is one in a DC squatting in the White House. RICO. RICO statutes is what you're referring to. RICO is organized crime. We will never, ever, ever see anyone in the White House being prosecuted under the RICO statutes, organized crime, because the people that would prosecute them are most likely participating in the conspiracy to deprive others of their rights, their liberty, and their property, aka fraud, deceit, and abuse. They're all in it together, folks. DC is not the swamp. It's not the swamp. Washington, D.C. is worse than a cesspool that is full of all things rotten and fetid. And the stench, folks, of Washington, D.C., along with other capitals around the world, is caused by these evil bastards that are not going to go away. They're not going to go away, folks. They're not. Now, let me get to Darcy before I forget. Oh, this is fucking interesting. I was warned a couple of days ago. Jolene, take note. Uman, take note. Kaz, take note. Our syndicate, take note. Prepared Mind audience, take note. I was told a few days ago that PayPal is going to begin painfully pressuring people that if they suspect you are a security risk, if you're an extremist, that PayPal will shut down your account and hold your funds. Now, I've known about this for years for people who were doing medicinal marijuana. Oh, that's so evil. But, you know, hey. Jim Jones juice, zombie juice is just fine. But how dare you use marijuana for medicinal purposes? So I got a donation from Darcy, and PayPal is holding it. Undergoing review due to security measures. Now we have an honest, lawful, productive, tax-paying, decent human being who has never committed an act of crime, Darcy. It's a woman named Darcy. Folks, Darcy her funds are being held up due to security measures. PayPal is trying to pull the plug on all of us. It's not just Alex Jones. They haven't messed with me yet, but Jolene, did we or did we not make the right fucking decision? But they're doing it now, folks. Donation under review from PayPal. I just had to tell you that, but let me get to Darcy's question, if we shall. Oh, no, that's another security measure. Don't reply to this. Don't try and get in touch with us. Love PayPal. Oh, P.S. Fuck you is what they're saying, folks. It's exactly what they're saying. So let me see if I can find this. I want to thank Paul Bottoms for a nice little hello. And then we also have Cassandra, who sent a PayPal donation. It says, John, please watch that Robin Williams movie, Club Paradise. It came out back when comedians were still funny. Thanks, says the Sweeps. Okay, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much there, Sweeps. Duly noted, folks, Robin Williams, Club Paradise. Understand, in the middle of this fucking show, right now, live, PayPal has decided to try and stop us. They are now going to do what they can to screw us over. What did we do? Oh, wait, yeah, you and I, us, we noted that these corporations, these banks, these manufacturers, these suppliers, these fucking retailers, these governments, these social media networks, these mainstream media networks, these educational systems, these legal organizations, these non-government organizations like, Sorge Goros, and not to mention, I'll just say their fucking names, Black Lives Matter, Black Bloc, Antifa. I am not afraid of any of these people, folks. I have done everything I have set out to do in life, and I continue to be successful, just like you. They can't really stop us unless they kill us. They seem to be working towards it, do they not? Whew. We got Rolling Thunder, and Darcy, thank you very much. I guess they're not going to give me the message. I don't get to know what the hell Darcy said because I guess they're gonna hold their comments as well as the donation. I tell you, I'm frustrated, folks. That's all they can do is frustrate us. I mean, they can hurt us. They can steal our money. They can make sure you don't get any food, that your children are cold, that your mom gets no medical attention. I heard today that a veteran died from a gallbladder issue that wasn't treated, and because all the ICU beds were full of shills going, I got cerveza bug. They're clogging the hospitals intentionally to give the appearance of some sort of outbreak at a time of year, folks, when people don't get sick. Surprise, surprise, surprise is what Gomer Pyle would say. I'm not fucking surprised, folks. All right, we got Rolling Thunder with 556. He says, last time Biden botched a pullout, Hunter was born. Good one. Nailed it. Bada bing zing, God. Oh, that was AVG saying your personal info may have leaked. Oh, really? What the fuck are you guys doing to protect the system? Sheesh. All right, we got Kentucky Patriot Prepper checks in with a 556. He says, any thought on the Convention of States? The answer is yes, I have a great thought on Convention of States. And I'm not putting it down. The American people are waking up. Convention of States, Constitutional Convention, secession of states, demanding the 10th Amendment matter. There's a huge 10th Amendment movement out there, folks. It's like, hey, there is this, people love to go, well, somewhere inside the Constitution is Roe versus Wade's decision that a woman can murder a baby. But they can't see in bold fucking letters the 10th Amendment, that the states, the government, the U.S. federal government in D.C., those jackasses, their authority is limited to only what they're allowed, and all other rights are reserved to the states and the people respectively. All of these things are super important, folks. But what's important here, Kentucky Patriot Prepper, to note is the government doesn't care about the Convention of States. That matters to me and you, though, the people. Because if there's people within the states putting together states organizations, that's a great thing. They're standing up, they're waking up and saying, we want our rights back. We're the states. We don't have to participate in your fucked up system. It's really important that this happen. It's really important that America goes, hey, 10th Amendment. Hey, how about this? 4th Amendment, 5th Amendment, 1st Amendment, 2nd Amendment, right? Right? Securing your persons and papers. You can't come and arrest me unless there's actual crime. You have to get a fucking warrant. You can't just do what you want. You can't just break into my house. You can't just steal my fucking car, right? You can't just kick down my door and demand that I kiss your ass. No, I'm not a criminal. You kick down my door, you are breaking and entering, threatening my life. Not a good situation for anyone to be in. Because I know I am not a criminal. Convention of States. I applaud any and every effort to wake people up, to fully inform them. Look at that piece of paper right there. The people are saying we've had enough. What's neat about the Convention of States, it is very reminiscent of the body of work that was done to create the Declaration of Independence. That, folks, that was a monumental work penned by Thomas Jefferson, great statesman and philosopher. Very famous, yeah, that guy, Thomas Jefferson. The Convention of States could very well produce a document like that. The one problem we have in all of this stuff, whether it's the 10th Amendment states or the secession movement or the Convention of States or any other movement, is the government doesn't give a rat's ass. We could tell them, hey, look, we're in charge. It's our country, our lives. You don't fucking own this. This is me. This is mine. And anything that's within my sight, in the office, at my bunker, even Uman's garage, you don't get to say you own because you're the high and mighty fucking government. You are not the almighty. You don't own us. But they don't care. We could tell them, take a flying fuck at a rolling donut, you bastards. Oh, they'll hear that. But they're going to do what they want because they have the power. My good friend Jim, who is the youngest ever elected mayor in the United States of America, I believe at age 18, ran for mayor and won. Jim said, you know, government has a lot of power. But just because you have that power in government, whatever that power or authority is, you don't have to use it and wield it every chance you get. Right? That is for extreme circumstances. Government should always be reserved. Brilliant man. Brilliant man. And I miss Jim terribly since I left California. But there's a lot of people like that, folks, that understand government and its true purpose. But the people in charge right now have no idea. They just think we have power, we're going to use it. Bastards. Crazy Uncle checks in with a $5 super chat donation. He says, if the truckers really want to make a statement, then they can park a trailer full of pigs in front of a politician's house. They're already used to the BS, which is bullshit. So the smell of a pig farm, folks, and I got to tell you, I love me a bacon sandwich. Give me a BLT, oh yeah. But pigs, pig farm, that stinks, folks. I would love for every politician to have a truckload of pigs parked in front of their house. I don't think that's illegal. I don't think it's harassment. It's not violating anyone's rights. It's just basically parking a truckload of stinky ass pigs so that they can smell the excrement that they have been heaving at us. We got DDG checking in. Hey, DD, with an awesome $20 super chat donation. DD's always makes me laugh. Okay, and this is what she says. Topic at dinner last night. You've heard of breakfast at Tiffany's. Well, this is dinner at Gigi's, DDG's. She says, knock, knock, take the tequila shot or go to FEMA camp. Everyone chose tequila at her dinner last night. She says, I would like to think I would not, but as BF, boyfriend, reminded me, quote, you wouldn't do too well in a FEMA camp, babe. Truth. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you, DDG. No, you wouldn't do well in a FEMA camp, a Marxitration camp, a concentration camp, a work camp, a gulag, a deprogramming camp, a re-education camp, or a torture camp. You would do horribly, DDG. But I'm going to tell you this. I would do horribly as well. All of us would be horribly, horribly, horribly hurt by that. Because this is not happy-go-lucky Nazi 1930s, folks. They know that people will resist now. They know that people know that you don't have any choice but to fucking resist, because death is imminent in any camp. At any point, you can have a gun put to your head. At any point, you can be pushed into a fucking hole and gunned down. At any point, you can be poisoned with food or water. At any point, you can be electrocuted by walking into a room with wires in the floor that you're standing on. They don't care. They think it's cute. Listen to that little Nazi pixie who got on Twitter, some Army Staff Sergeant millennial piece of shit. Not that all millennials are a piece of shit, but this one sure was. And she's talking a bunch of trash about when she comes and knocks on your door and gives you an order. And if you don't follow it, you're going to get your ass fucking beat. You're going to get shot. You don't have constitutional rights anymore because there's an emergency and she's been empowered. Try it, sweetheart. Fucking try it. People, they fucked up. Letting this little bitch come out has caused a huge problem. Huge. Thank you, Twit, because now even more people are awake because she insulted us all. She threatened us all, and she showed us their hand. Folks, the military today, not all of them, but the military today has a contingent of left-wing scumbag communist fucks. And opposed to them are those who are patriotic Americans. Just like the rest of the country, this is a big deal today, and I wanted to go over this. Just like the rest of the country, the military has been divided along partisan lines. A gulf has opened up. You've got people like that little commie bitch and the skirt-wearing used-to-be men who identify as women now over here, the brass, the Pentagon. Secretary of Defense. They don't give a fuck about your Constitution. Your rights to them, they think, can be taken away by the government. They haven't a fucking clue what reality is like. This little bitch doesn't look like she's missed a fucking meal her whole life. And if she missed one, I'm sure she got her protein snack some other way. I have had it with these fucking people. And so have you. And I know it, folks. And I'm going to tell you why and how. Today, after my emergency situation, I visited a local establishment and was greeted by a number of very excited Americans. Probably the first of which, I can't mention him by name. Another one was a guy named John, who I've met before. And he says, he goes, you know, I was a Marine. And I was like, dude, look at the fucking shirt I'm wearing, right? And he goes, oh shit. And we started talking. This guy served back in the 70s, late 70s. And we got Vietnam vets here, folks. Men who served in the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, all the way through. We've got a country full of veterans. And if I didn't have to come and do this show, I would probably still be down there drinking because everyone was so fucking pissed. I was getting high fives and bro hugs. Everyone, folks, They've had it with this shit. They've had it with this bullshit military crap. They've had it with the fucking lockdowns. They fucking had it. They're so pissed off over the government. And we're almost at an hour and a half into this, and I haven't even talked about Afghanistan yet. They're so pissed off over what happened with those bombings that killed American servicemen and women. To me, they're all servicemen. Human. You know, just when you're approached by everyday Americans, folks, who want to talk to you and just say, look, we've had it with this shit. They don't even know who the fuck I am. And they just want to fucking say it to somebody who's listening, somebody who understands. It's not a little thing. It's not just us preppers. Today was everybody. Fucking dudes I've never met just want to say, look, we got to do something. Fucking people on the street, folks, we got to do something. You know, I'm walking out and I hear someone yell Semper Fi at my back. I walk by an old lady who jumps up and gives me a hug and a kiss. This is what's going on. People are ready. They're supporting what we want, which is freedom and liberty. I didn't know I looked like a piece of liberty walking around that people wanted to fucking say hi to, but that's how desperate they are and how much they've had it with this shit. And there's no way the United States government in Washington, D.C. doesn't know what they're doing to us and what the consequences are of their actions and decisions. There's no way they're not aware of the frustrations and anger the United States people have over what is being done to us, them, their kids, their grandkids, their parents, their sisters, their fellow countrymen. What's going on? People are fucking pissed. Like you said, I'd still be down there and they would still be shoving drinks in front of me. The bartenders, God bless them, were bringing me glasses of water and going, here you go, John. You know, keep drinking some water. Here's some French fries. You know, we don't need you fucking falling over drunk because of just everyone just going, we got to get, you know, and it wasn't a drinking fest. It wasn't about that. It was about the talk, the discussion, what was being done. What's being done to us and a desire to do something else about it. Right. And if I were to mention any bad words, you know, they could say that we're planning an insurrection, that it's some kind of giant conspiracy just to say we want to be free. We want our rights. Crazy stuff. We got Damien English checking in with a $20 super chat donation. Folks, your super chats pay the bills. We are 1,361 live right now. And I still haven't gotten to the really fucking nasty shit in Afghanistan. All right, this is Damien checking in with a $20 super chat. He says, hey, during Hurricane Katrina, the Louisiana National Guard and the feds went door to door stealing guns. We may just hear the next shot heard around the world after this storm, meaning Hurricane Ida. We truckers are being told to stay out of the Gulf. One moment, I will address this. You have a right to self-defense, which means you have a right to own and possess the tools of self-defense, whether it's a shovel or a rake or a Smith & Wesson or a Glock. Or some kind of AR-14, right, Joe? Or even a shotgun. Everything and all things are your right in self-defense. Now, the example he's referring to is Hurricane Katrina. In Hurricane Katrina, the chief of police of New Orleans decided to do a press conference, and you can find it on YouTube. He said, we're going to get the guns. There's going to be no more guns. No one's going to be allowed to have any guns. And that's right. The National Guard came out. But it wasn't just Louisiana National Guard. It was National Guard from other states. There was a unit there that was on the news. I believe they were from Oklahoma. I think it was Oklahoma. They were there. They were called up and sent down to go door to door Give us your guns. Not a fucking chance. I don't care if you have an American flag on your sleeve. You are not an American if you're stealing someone else's guns. There were California Highway Patrol in New Orleans, Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina. How do I know this? Because the NRA, a group that I don't think is the absolute best, but I guess they're doing what they do, trying to preserve our rights, as a political action committee, as a lobbying group, as the American people behind it. Anyways, they did a documentary on what happened in Katrina with gun control, gun confiscation, and absolute fucking abject stupidity coming out of all government decisions. There's an old lady, and she had a camera crew in her house, and she was like, I can protect myself, and I've got food, and look at this. And she's just an old lady. I mean, literally, folks, she had to be 70 to 75. Little, frail old lady. And someone said something, I think, in the interview, the interviewer says, well, what if some bad guys show up or something bad happens? You should be evacuated. She says, oh, no, I have this. And she's holding this fucking revolver. I think it was a 38 special, little 38 special. And the highway patrolman from California saw that and fucking tackled her and beat the fucking shit out of her to wrestle this gun away from her. She wasn't pointing at anyone. There was a reporter in her house doing an interview, and he said, what about protecting yourself? Aren't you afraid? Right? She didn't point the gun at the fucking dude. She just, no, I got this gun. And she showed it because television is about show and tell. And she got the shit beat out of her, injured, because superhero dickhead wanted to enforce an unlawful order coming from a big mouth fucking politician in New Orleans, and somehow he managed to come all the way from California just to beat up grandma. Now, Damien, here we are today, years later, and we have a big storm coming. It's not winter. No one's going to freeze to death. Power's going to be knocked out? Probably. Transportation issues? Probably. Supply issues, yeah, because you're saying we truckers are being told to stay out of the Gulf. That would mean the Gulf states, definitely the Gulf areas, the counties, roads, highways that are within probably at least 100 miles of the Gulf. They wanted everyone to stay out. I'm sure they would very much like to see the people of the Gulf states hurt so they can enforce more of their draconian shit. Are the Americans that live there going to say, oh, yeah, we're having a really hard time. We think you should come and take our guns, and we'll just willingly give them up. Because I remember last year in 2020, when all those fucking leftist radical jackasses were going from city to city, burning, looting, murdering, and assaulting police and police stations, and the government let them get away with that illegal activity, including launching explosives at the police, throwing incendiary devices at police, throwing Molotov cocktails, flaming bombs at the police, shooting their eyes out with lasers, high-powered lasers. Yeah, we got that kind of shit now, folks. And it doesn't happen instantly. It takes a couple of seconds of pointing a fucking laser at you into your eye that burns shit up. Whoops. That's fine, but will the government allow you to keep your self-defense tools in the event of an emergency? And in an emergency, the police say, you're on your own. We've got so many emergencies, we can't get to you now. Whether your problem's medical or civil or criminal, you're on your own. And you're like, oh, so that means that as soon as I see a policeman, I should just give him all my weapons so I can't defend myself and protect my family and protect my neighbors? Oh, yeah, that makes perfect fucking sense. On what planet? No, thank you. Folks, you have a right to protect yourself at all times, especially in an emergency situation. Oh, you mean there's an emergency, so I should just abandon all of my rights? Thank you, government. I got confused about how good emergencies are. Let's see, heaven, no need for weapons. Emergency, no need for weapons. Oh, so when you cause an emergency to happen, then that's like heaven. Is that what you're telling? No, it's the fucking exact opposite. Oh yeah, 180 degrees off. That is exactly what America's about. Thank you, John Lord, for all of your awesome emails. Thank you, everyone, lad. Everyone, thank you so much. Where are we going here? We got William C. with a 410 super chat donation. 410 is actually a really fun little shotgun gauge. It's actually 41 caliber also. There is no self-defense tool that I'm going to tell you is a bad self-defense tool, provided your ammunition is good and it works. All right, he says, what about SA president telling peeps to go buy a rifle? SA is South Africa. What about the South African president telling the people to go buy a rifle? The problem with that, I don't have a problem with him saying it. I think there's a little bit of logistical problems in South Africa because they have, it's not America, it's South Africa. They have regulatory issues there, not to mention supply issues in South Africa. Now, by regulatory issues, I mean, I believe, if I recall right, there's restrictions on how much ammunition you can buy. Do you need a permit, special permission? Same with buying any weapon in South Africa. But the president, I think there, according to our good friend there, says, hey, guess what? You need to go protect yourself. Once again, hey, Mr. President, we got a problem down here in Johannesburg. Oh, yeah, there's a problem down there. What do we do? What do we do? Well, I'm the president, and I'm here to tell you, go buy a rifle because you're on your own, fucker, and hangs up on him. That's almost as good as Joe Biden. Go buy a shotgun and fire off a couple rounds. Thanks, Joe. All right, we got Shelly Chavers with a $10 super sticker. Thank you, Shelly, very much. The super chat button, folks, is how you get to ask a question, and I'll make you famous. I tell you what, and I'm looking at the list of topics that I have, and you guys haven't let me get to them at all after 90 minutes. What I would like to do is continue to answer your questions because Sunday Night Live is your show. We've got Patreon here, folks, bigger than ever. I want everyone to go to Patreon because at Patreon, I get to talk about everything. Thank you, Mr. T, for that great promo. Folks, there's nothing in their rules. There's been no effort or attempt at all to regulate my speech on Patreon. Whether it's verbal, video, or written, we're good there. And that is the best way to guerrilla fund us. When we got taken down, both the Prepared Mind channel and the Prepared Mind BC, for backup channel, BC, those channels were both taken down. Pow! 2 weeks, a big middle finger to you. I mean, I can still sit here in the office and talk to the wall all day long, but nobody could hear. Folks, the First Amendment isn't about me being able to talk. It's you being able to listen and hear what you want from who you want when the fuck you want. That's what it's about. It's not free speech. It's the free flow of information, whether it's verbal, auditory, visual. You're supposed to be allowed to look at what you want. That person, we're all supposed to be allowed to say what we want. And just because I can say what I want doesn't mean anyone has to listen, care, or give a fuck, much less obey or heed my instructions. That's your choice. That's what I say. Look, I just have information. I have some ideas and thoughts. It's up to you to decide what you want to hear. I'm completely free that way. You don't have to believe me. You don't even have to check my reference. You don't have to fucking be here. Get the fuck out of here if you don't like it. Right? That's how it should be for all of us. It's called free speech. Absolutely fucking stunning the way these people think. They don't want us to be able to think and listen and hear for ourselves. They want to tell us what we need to know. And what they want to tell us is what Jen Psaki told us is, I don't think we can guarantee Americans who want to get out of Afghanistan will be able to leave after August 31st. In other words, a bunch of backwards ass fucking terrorists in Afghanistan who were incidentally given $85 billion worth of equipment, including, flying objects like, combat helicopters and equipment and drones and fucking tanks and fucking MRAPs, armored vehicles, patrol vehicles, weapons, ammunition, explosives, ordnance, gear, equipment, helmets. I'm sure they got plenty of food too. But, well, I guess they were able to guarantee that because the military was not allowed to destroy it or evacuate that equipment when they abandoned the fucking country. And now the American people that are over there. That's right, folks. American people. Americans. United States people. I like to call them Americans, though, because the United States reminds me too much of the government in D.C. because that's their corporate logo, their title. Corporate name is United States. We're the American people, and there's Americans over there. And right now, folks, the fucking military, especially the Marines and soldiers, well, everyone, want to go over there and evacuate our, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. In fact, there's a Marine who was fired because he criticized the upper brass for making these stupid fucking decisions. I'm making criticisms, and guess what? I don't have anything that you guys get to come and take. You can't fire me, motherfuckers. They deserve criticism, folks, because of what they have done. What they have done. This Marine battalion commander that I'm talking about, he gets fired. He's patriotic, he's thinking, he's smart, but the little, the little troll whore bitch, staff sergeant, spouting anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-constitutional hate, she gets to stay. She gets to stay, right? But when the government fails and our servicemen and women are dying, that commander, Lieutenant Colonel, he's a light colonel. And John, if you're watching, man, you know light colonels. Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, 17-year veteran. He risked his career and his pension because he posted a rebuke, a criticism, scathing rebuke of the senior military leaders. That would be the Pentagon, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because they failed and our people are dying. American civilians and our military. They're not getting the protection or the support or anything they need. I don't think I don't think they're getting what they need. Anyways, God bless you there, Stuart, Lieutenant Colonel, sir. But he basically, you're fired. What do you mean fired? How do you fire a fucking Marine? How do you fire a soldier? Well, that's it. You're done. It's a little bit different when you're an officer. You're just done. You're out. And this guy, I'm looking at his fucking picture right now, looks just like a fucking lieutenant colonel to me. 17 years, you're done. You're not allowed to criticize the assholes that have caused all this problem. How dare you speak up, Colonel, and point and factually describe how screwed our country is because of the government. Their incompetence, their corruption. He says this, quote, I want to say this very strongly. I have been fighting for 17 years. I'm willing to throw it all away to say to my senior leaders, I demand accountability. That's a fucking Marine for you. Now, of course, he's in a uniform. And like I was talking about the other day, did I not say that to sit on the Joint Chiefs of Staff and protect your precious fucking retirement by not saying anything, not criticizing, not going public, not demanding anything. You want to save your precious money and your fucking plaques on the wall So you can brag to everyone what a great fucking douche you are by allowing the president and his jackass Secretary of Defense and the other generals to push you around into silence. But the cost of that, folks, and this is terrible, the cost of that incompetence and unwillingness to stand up for what's right is costing lives. Lives right now. Now, they're going to continue with this quote. I'm not saying we've got to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, a strategic airbase, before we evacuate everyone? Did anyone do that? And when you didn't think to do that, did anyone raise their hand and say, we completely messed this up? I'm going to continue with a quote from the colonel. I apologize, colonel. The man who was a colonel in the United States Marine Corps, serving 17 years, who is no longer, because he's been fired. He says, I thought through, if I post this video, what might happen to me, especially if the video picks up traction, which it has, if I have the courage to post it. But I think what you believe in can only be defined by what you're willing to risk. If I'm willing to risk my current battalion seat, my retirement, my family's stability, to say some of the things I want to say, I think it gives me some moral high ground to demand the same honesty, integrity, and accountability from my senior leaders. God bless you, man. When the people stood up to the tyrants in England, the American colonists, they pledged their lives, they pledged their families, they pledged their fortunes, folks. What I was demanding last week from the leadership and the brass was that they do this exactly what this lieutenant colonel has done. And be men. Stand up and act ye like men, for fuck's sake. For once, stand up to corruption and incompetence and say what needs to be said. Don't tolerate what is being done to our military. And now the military, the Marine Corps, is short one more good senior officer. How fucking about that? Because he said some very true things, folks. Said some very, very true things. He says, I have been relieved for cause, meaning fired, based on a lack of trust and confidence as of 14:30 today on Friday. That would be 2:30 to you and I civilians. He says, to all my friends across the social networks, I have been relieved for cause based on a lack of trust and confidence as of 14:30 today. My chain of command is doing exactly what I would do if I were in their shoes. I appreciate the opportunities AITB command provided. To all the news agencies asking for interviews, I will not be making any statements other than what's on my social platforms until I exit the Marine Corps. America has many issues, but it's my home. I'm being redirected to finish his thoughts. It's my home. It's where my 3 sons will become men. America is still the light shining in a fog of chaos. When my Marine Corps career comes to an end, I look forward to a new beginning. My life's purpose is to make America the most lethal and effective foreign diplomacy instrument. Spoken like a fucking officer. He says, while my days of hand-to-hand violence may be ending, I see a new light on the horizon. And he writes, Semper. Just Semper. Okay, folks. I know you got, I know everything's piling up, Jolene. I know it. I tell you, folks. One of the Marines that was killed is Kareem Nakui. He was killed in Afghanistan. And this is what his father said of a U.S. Marine. Says, I was happy when my son joined the military under Trump, but Biden turned his back on him. Folks, the parents of these slain servicemen and women, a couple of them were women, and I believe they were Marines. They don't like Biden. They don't like Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense. They don't like the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They don't like the Pentagon. They don't like the senior leadership. The parents, the wives, spouses, children, relatives, brothers, sisters, mothers, everyone, fathers, are pissed off right now that there are Americans in Afghanistan being abandoned, that our military on that base is being, once again, what? It's the 29th. On the 31st, it time's up. The Taliban can do what they want. America, your time is done. Apparently, you're going to be told what to do by a bunch of fucking idiots wearing diapers on top of their head instead of like the idiots in Washington, D.C. who wear them on their face. Apparently, those guys over there have figured out you take the diaper off your face and stick it up here. And then you get to be the boss of the USA. While our servicemen are getting blown up, and they claim, yeah, there's a lot more coming, folks. It's just, it is absolutely frustrating what has gone and happened. 9 of the deceased have been identified, and that I have. Maybe they've released more, but I want to just read their names. David Lee Espinoza, Riley McCollum, Jared Schmitz, Hunter Lopez, Deegan Page, Ryan Noss, Darren Taylor, Kareem Nakui. I know that I wasn't able to name all of them, folks, but these are real people. These are real people. They've lost their lives because our government doesn't give a shit. And they didn't want to do what needed to be done properly, and they were willing to abandon. Absolutely disgusting, our government, that we no longer control. The government's not being controlled, folks. They're doing what they want. All right. What have we got for questions, Jolene? We got more, or am I going to get turned loose here? We're almost up on the 2-hour mark. And I'll go 2 hours. I'll go as long as you guys want to talk. And Darcy, if you would send me an email with your questions, because PayPal is going to jerk us around. We got Mr. Skylight checks in with a $99.99 super chat donation. And folks, I'm not saying anything awful here that is so bad that it shouldn't be heard by everyone. In fact, everything I talk about should be heard by everyone. And it's all coming from you guys. You guys send me this stuff. You send me this stuff. So Mr. Skylight says, love you, bro. Steady as she goes, Captain. It's we're on course. All hands on deck. We're steaming. We're going 100% into SHTF. Thank you very much again, Mr. Skylight, for all that you do to help support the network, and then provide it also with intel. We've got $5 from Crazy Uncle. He says, the true pain will be when all the crops being destroyed do not get to the stores. Meaning an American Holodomor is coming whether we are ready or not. We can use a word that might be a little more familiar, like Holocaust, or apocalypse. It's coming, folks. They're destroying crops. They're not planting crops. They're paying people to not farm the same way they're paying people not to work. And this isn't just an American issue, folks. It's international. Once again, this isn't one country doing something bad. It's every country doing the exact same thing at different levels of excitement for causing pain and suffering. But what happens when there's not enough food being produced? Are we going to continue to sell food overseas? Well, let's just assume for a second that we have a deal with China. We're going to send 1 million tons of wheat to China because we made a deal with China. And so even though there's a shortage, there's less wheat being produced because it wasn't planted. Are we still going to send that 1 million tons of wheat to China? Well, what about the American people? Don't we get fucking first dibs on what's produced in our nation, our states? So we go hungry and our prices go up. Or do we tell China, sorry, we're idiots. Our government has said, don't produce this. They've destroyed crops. And so China, you don't get 100 tons or 1,000 tons or 1 million tons of wheat from the United States of America. Now people are hurting in China. Now, same as the United States of America. The people of the world love you. They may not understand us all the time. They may not get it, but they love Americans. They may not love everything about us, but they love Americans. What they don't like is the Washington, D.C., United States government. I don't have a problem with Chinese people. I have a problem with Chinese government. I don't want to see the Chinese people suffering any more than I want to see Japanese people suffering or Vietnamese people suffering or anyone else suffering. But the governments around the world are causing everyone around the world to suffer. And we're all going to have to struggle to get a handful of food because they're not planning it. They're not planning things out. In fact, what they're planning is destruction. Absolute destruction. And I have something I want to read to you guys that's going to just fucking make you pissed. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone, subscribe to the Prepared Mind channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to notify you when new videos come out. And if you can, get over to patreon.com and sign up at the Prepared Mind on Patreon. Costs $2 a month, 7 cents a day. Pow. That's right. I made it an hour, 52 minutes, and 30 seconds in before I mentioned anything. Remotely seeming like a a fucking plug. Pimping my own channel out there. $5 super chat donation from Frankie Rios. He says, we must be aware the last time, quote, we the people stirred. They staged Oklahoma City. Know what I'm saying? Wonder what happened to the hero cop of that story. I am expecting there to be many events starting right now. Events over in Afghanistan. Events here in the United States of America. Not nice events. Events where people are hurt, where property is destroyed, where lives are lost because they need a distraction. They need an event to occur so that the government can say, see, there's bad guys out there. Consequently, as a result, we must XYZ. Government, more power, more authority, more control. That's their answer to everything. Well, I guess we have a problem. I guess we're going to need to take your rights and give ourselves more power and a big fat raise. Absolutely frustrating. Folks, are you ready for this? Are you ready to lose your fucking minds? Vice President of the United States government, Kamala Harris, stood in front of a idol, a statue of Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was the communist leader of Vietnam during the Vietnam War and leading up to it. The communist leader, Ho Chi Minh, also used our Declaration of Independence, and he bastardized it, plagiarized it in order to push communist propaganda and destruction on Southeast Asia. So what does Camel Toes Kamala Harris, Vice President, do? She goes to Vietnam and she stands in front of this idol, this statue of Ho Chi Minh, along with dignitaries from that country, standing in front of a fucking statue of a communist with American flags behind it. America is not a communist country. It never was. And the United States of America cannot be communist. You would have to change the name, folks. American flags flanking a fucking communist. Thank you, Biden administration. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you, Secretary of Defense. Thank you, State Department. Thank you, Secretary of State. Thank you, all of you Democrats in Washington, D.C., for sending American flags to put around Ho Chi Minh, fucking communist, folks. And you'll like this next. In the pictures that she took with other foreign dignitaries, she put her hand up while taking the picture. Do you remember this one? Heil who? That was another salute to a fucking radical dictator. Now, while we do know that people lay a hand on the Bible and raise their hand and take the oath of office, right, to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, discharge my duties, yada, 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 yada. Why is she standing in front of a false idol, a god, Ho Chi Minh, communist scumbag, and raise her right hand? The raised hand is in the position one takes when swearing an oath of allegiance. Here is our Vice President, Camel Toes, doing what in front of that region's communist revolutionary icon, idol? This is not the America I grew up in. This is not the country that I once thought it was. And it's not your fault or my fault. We have paid our taxes. We have paid our dues. We have obeyed the law. We're good, decent people. This is our country. We work hard for it. And this pile of shit goes over there and raises her right hand in front of Ho Chi fucking Minh. All right, we got Mile High 5280 with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says, "Hey John, did you hear about the supposed 24-hour trucker strike here in the U.S. to support the one scheduled in Australia on Tuesday, the 31st? Yes. I hope the truckers, and wish them and pray that they are successful in their mission. And hell, I'll tell you what, why do 24 hours when you can do 48 or 72 or a 96er? Oh man, when I was in the service, we loved a 96. That's 4 days. Take 4 days. Fuck it, guys. Take the whole week off. Start, I don't know, why don't you start Monday? Just take the whole week off and the weekend. And if the government decides that the people's rights are actually more important than their ridiculous political fucked up will, which is completely agenda based and not anything scientifically factual, how about that? You guys just take the fucking week off. Who would not like that? Well, the government would not like the shelves empty, not because they care about you, but because they want Americans asleep. They don't want Americans to know that there's a real problem. They're slowly causing things to get fucked up. They're slowly bringing the system down. They're slowly dumbing everyone down. They're slowly killing the country. They want to do it slowly, as the leftist commies like to say, progressively. I don't think the word progress works, though. Progressive is all wrong. They're not progressives, they're regressives. They're not progressing and progressing, they're regressing. They're dropping and lowering the system. They're communists. And I want to say this, folks, we have a fabulous turnout on this show. Order out of chaos. That was not said by George Washington, a Freemason. It's an Illuminati idea that you take chaos and you get order out of chaos. What did we have 2 years ago, 20 years ago? We had order. So in order to get order out of chaos, they have to take order and turn it into chaos. Our government right now is making chaos in our country by doing what they're doing. They're creating chaos so that they can turn around and in true, proper Hegelian dialect fashion, AKA problem, reaction, solution, Hegelian dialect, create a problem and then offer a solution that is in line with their agenda. That's exactly what they're doing, folks. They're bringing America down and destroying it regressively, piece by piece. You need to be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Literally, folks. This is no longer about what stock to buy. It's no longer about, what's the best investment to make. It's no longer about, well, should I have 2 months or 3 months worth of food? Get what you can together, folks. Time is of the essence. It's short. Frankie Rios checks in with a $5 super chat donation. He says, your toilet paper is safe. Hide your rocks. I need to get a couple more rolls of toilet paper. Chicken prepper. That's a good one. Looks like the chicken possibly from the movie Chicken Run. Chicken prepper says this with a $2 super chat donation. What are we supposed to do when they come for us? That's a fabulous question. I'm going to give you a $200 answer for a $2 donation because I like to give people their money's worth. What are we supposed to do when they come for us? Hey, Mr. Smith, we need you to come to the door, answer it, so we can arrest you, put you in a car or a paddy wagon, haul you off to a FEMA camp while we go into your house and ransack it, take all of your shit. And since we're doing this to multiple people, there's not enough room for all of your shit. So we're going to take everyone's shit and put it in a giant warehouse. We're going to use you as a supreme example of the government enemy. And we're going to use propaganda of you in this arrest to make you look bad. We're going to make up all kinds of lies about you too, Mr. Smith. We're going to say that you're a child molester and that you're a violent thug and you're a domestic violent extremist and you probably beat your wife and your children and you stole all the money and you're illegally living in this house. You're an awful human being. You're going to do a 1984 style screw you over. And you're just going to open the door and say, well, give me the bracelets. Give me the bracelets. You can arrest me and destroy my life. I won't resist. I am not going to stand up for my rights. I'm not going to stand up and resist you because I know you're an evil government agent who has decided that for a fucking paycheck, you're going to destroy the lives of individuals, families, cities in this country. Or, chicken prepper, you asked the great question, what are we supposed to do when they come for us? Or they just beat the fucking door in and go, we're here for you. And they start screaming and yelling, get down, you're under arrest, we're gods, you have to lick our boots, we're going to destroy you. You've already lost. The gig is up. The question is, do you have a right still? Just because someone says you're under arrest, is it sprinkling salt on your tail? Well, I was close enough, you're dead, you're done. People are not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, chicken prepper. I'm not going to tell anyone what you should do. There's options, though. These are your options. Lay on the ground, stick your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye, and then get ready for it to happen in the physical world. Or you take a chance and you say, not today. You don't own me or my family or my life or my property. You don't own me. You're not going to arrest me, and I am going to resist this unlawful, ungodly, unconstitutional violation of not only my rights, but the sanctity of what government should be, which is a unit, a body of people who are hired to serve everyone else, to serve them, to create peace and tranquility, justice and equality, freedom, liberty for the people. That's what government is supposed to be about. Not the government has said, and they want, and the government has an agenda, and they think they know what's best, so everyone else has to suffer and die. Until everyone who would be a threat is arrested and eliminated, and the remaining people are so cowed and fearful that they will never dream of standing up to a government that has shown itself so fucking heavy-handed that they kill and murder everyone that they try to arrest in order to scare everyone else into compliance. So, question I have for you, chicken prepper. If they come to your door, or they're parked in your driveway, or out on your street, or they're in town doing this to other people, what are you going to do is the question. I can't tell you what to do. In fact, I'm not even allowed to make a recommendation, but I can talk about the options. Some people are going to lay down. They're already dead. Other people are going to say, I don't think so. I have rights. They're right there in the Declaration of Independence. I have protections. It's right there in the Bill of Rights. There are rules to the game. It's called the common law, nature's law, God's law, and the U.S. Constitution. Not to mention the Declaration of Independence is in itself a living document, only in the sense that it is still appropriate, active, and applicable in everyone's lives in the United States of America. I wish, folks, I wish I had a transcript of all this shit we talk about. This is all improvised, folks. This is not planned, and it's just me and you talking. It's your choice. We're past 2 hours. Can you believe it, folks? And we're still going. We got Chester Wolf the Griffin checking in with a $5 super chat donation. And he is referencing the Georgia Guidestones that prescribe. They have many things on these Georgia Guidestones written in multiple languages, chiseled into fucking stone. And one of them has to do with population control. And he writes this: maintaining a population under 500 million people, and that's worldwide, folks. That means 6.5 billion people are going to have to kick rocks. That was my understanding that we've got nearly 8 billion people. Oh, yeah, Surface Bug. I'm sorry. 7,995,000,000 people. Under 500 million, that means 6.5 million. Yeah, 7.5 billion people need to go away. Now, those Georgia Guidestones have been there, folks, I think 40 plus years. They weren't there. And then all of a sudden, one day, a bunch of Sarsens showed up, giant stones like Stonehenge showed up, a big old lintel put on top of them. They just showed up, Georgia Guidestones, right there. We're going to fucking kill all you people because that's how it works. And there has been, folks, for 150 years, groups of egg-headed, elitist, limp-wristed fuckwads who have wanted to reduce the population to what they call a manageable level, meaning a population that will not rise up against them, that will not fight them, that will not stand up for themselves. They have wanted this forever. What they didn't have, folks, was a population on the planet that could be controlled through mass media, mind control, and manipulation. Well, guess what we have now? We have a media system that's designed to blast everyone on the entire fucking planet from every angle with lies, bullshit, propaganda, and fear porn. And there are many, 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 many people who would just as soon roll over and play dead. But there are many of us, folks, that don't want to die. Now, I happen to believe that this guy right here, right, is on a list, probably a naughty list. You know how Santa Claus has the naughty and nice list? I'm probably on that list that they're not pleased with what I'm saying. And I'm not saying do anything violent. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal or unlawful. I'm telling you to the opposite. You should do what is lawful, capital L, lawful. You should behave lawfully and obey the law. There's a law out there, folks. That's what I'm telling you. So I haven't violated any of their rules, but you know, I don't think they like me anyways. But from what I have seen and heard over the last 48 hours, nay, 96 hours, certainly since that bomb went off, is the people in the military are very upset, and it is equally as divided as the rest of the world. Thank you, Jolene. The military, like us, is divide and conquer. Now, I've been talking a lot about the 3 stages, how this is used. They want to divide us, that is, create different groups so that they can pit us against each other, so we're not paying attention to Washington, D.C. Except it's really hard not to notice their fucking hand in this. They want to pit us against each other. And then they take the one group who's the bad guys. That is, those who are unwilling to follow the agenda of the assholes in charge. So they divide us, and then they put us in a separate group, and then they point the mainstream media, government, celebrities, etc., etc. Everyone looks at this group, and they are demonized. They are dehumanized. So the government, the minister of propaganda, gets to say, those Marines there, those soldiers there, those airmen there, those sailors are the bad ones. They're white supremacists. They're domestic violent extremists. They're anti-Bidenites. So we must destroy them. Divide, dehumanize, destroy. It's the same system, folks, that was used by the Nazis. It was used by the communists in Soviet Union, China. It's the same system being used today. The same exact fucking system is being used on you and me, our country, our military. Our children are being divided and split off of their parents. And then schools with these communist scumbag teachers are telling children to hate their parents, and hate their parents because they're white, and hate their parents because they're black and they agree with civilization. And they're teaching these children to hate each other and hate themselves. That's what they're doing, folks. Divide, divide. Take people you don't like, dehumanize them, and destroy them. This is literally happening. Incredible? Yeah, it is incredible. Is it real? Yes, it's real. We are past 2 hours, folks. I have had my ass kicked and handed to me. After this weekend's emergency rapid response awareness test that I had, which is great. Good to know I was able to step up, help some people out, and get my own ass out of trouble. Always be prepared, folks. I really was looking at these fucking mangroves and thinking, I'm going to weave a big giant, lack of a better word, hammock out of branches so I could sleep and not be down in the fucking swamp with a bunch of alligators and shit. What a wreck. And I want to thank everyone for all of the support we have gotten. But it's really important. I do have another donation here. It's our country, folks. Chance favors the prepared mind. We've got Cassandra back and says, remember to make friends with your dentist and veterinarians for SHTF. Every time I watch a movie, someone goes to their vet to remove a bullet. Get friendly with these people because they will save your life in the worst case scenario. Much love, you sexy Pressure Nation. Okay, now here's the deal, folks. Everyone has a skill. Veterinarians, doctors, everyone has a skill. Farmers, bakers, butchers, candlestick makers, right? Everyone has a skill. We all do. Building houses, mending fences, psychologists, you bet. There's going to be a need for someone to help people, counsel people in times of sadness and loss. We're going to have a lot of that. Everyone's going to have a place, folks. The question is divide off all of those scumbag communists. And these are the ones we have. And I think it's a good recommendation to make friends with everyone who is on the right side of things, the proper, decent side of things. Those on the left, you can see them. You can see them. When I was at the pub, there was a lady in a chair across the way. She had a mask hanging off of her ear. I went around and talked to the musician, and I said, "Hey, dude, thanks for the music, yada, yada, yada. Good seeing you." And then I walked by her, and I said, hey. She goes, "What?" She looked up at me. I go, "You got a thing hanging, you got something stuck on your ear." And she went, oh, and she felt, and she realized I was referring to her fucking mask. Nobody else wearing a mask in the South. What is this fucking lady doing there? Who is she trying to impress? Hanging a fucking mask off of her ear. That's some sort of fucking virtue signaling communist bullshit. Yeah, I'm pretty cool. I got a mask hanging off of my ear. Now, folks, I can see if maybe you had to wear masks outside and you went in, and once you sit down, you're allowed to take your mask off while you're eating, and therefore it looks kind of cool to do. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Everyone is well aware. Everyone is well aware of what a bunch of crap this is. Quit trying to fucking impress people. Quit trying to virtue signal your maskitude. You're a bunch of mask holes. Everyone has had it with you. There was even a person there that I know was a Democrat, not wearing a mask, that was just shaking his fucking head. What are you doing with that fucking mask on your ear? Anyways, folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Understand, folks, it has just begun, and it's going to get a lot worse and fast. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Go to the preparedmind.club. It's your prepper superstore. And we're going to have some new items coming out. We're doing what we can to get prepper items available. There's going to be shortages. Shortages are going to get worse. Get food, folks. You're going to get all this shit at the preparedmind.club, by the way. All your prepper shit right there. Pow. I don't care if you buy it from me or someone else. Just buy it. But don't forget to get meat, protein. You cannot live without meat. Literally, we, like it or not, are omnivorous, meaning we eat plants and animals. Meat, fat. You need fat. I'm not saying you need to take a bath in it. You just need fat. Get meat in cans, whatever it takes. Make sure you have enough to last through hard times. And hard times are coming, folks. Godspeed to you all. Thank you for the private messages of support and encouragement. And I want to give the same to you. I want you to feel like your thoughts matter, because they do. I want you to understand that your thoughts are accurate because you have taken the time to think about it. Do not let them discourage you or dissuade you from being your own free person. Of course, they want to tell you how evil it is and how wrong it is that you are free and that you have your own belief systems and that you're allowed to make decisions for yourself and your family and that you don't need them forcing you. There's going to be hell to pay, folks. There's going to be hell to pay for what is being done. And I think that even our good buddy, or Bubba Wallace, might be surprised at how many people are swinging from ropes in the next few years on all sides of the equation, folks. It's not going to be pretty. So get prepared. Grow up. We all got to grow up, realize the situation for what it is, and plan and prepare appropriately. Thank you so much for all you. Oh, Godspeed, Semper Fi.